You let me do it?
I did.
Okay.
All right, technology is wonderful when it works, right? I'm passing around a variety of different things that we're gonna go over here. I apologize for the kind of mundane nature of just talking about all the different things here, but this will help you get an understanding of what it is that you'll be doing, the policies, things along this line here. One thing that I hope you're thinking about as you're working on your graduate degree is what it is that you want to do with this degree once you leave, or degrees. What is it that is your hope? So when you finish a GSU, what job, what career, what type of thing are you going to point yourself into? And that can be a kind of a cumbersome idea when you're trying to figure out what it is you want to be when you grow up. And so I've done a lot of research in that area, and so if at any time you're trying to figure out what do I do with this degree, what am I doing, come see me, we can talk about it. As I tell my teacher ed students, I'm also the head of the foreign language teacher ed program, there's no need to hit a panic button. You might feel frustrated, you might feel kind of a little bit of culture shock if this is your first time for a long time in the United States. Just come and see, we can sit down, we can grab a cup of coffee or whatever, and just talk. There's just no need to freak out. Okay, there just isn't. As John Stewart mentioned, always check your GSU email. Even though you've got Yahoo accounts and all that, all official communications from the university, from me, from Dr. Nichols, anybody, has to go there. Same thing for you to your students. It all goes through GSU. They say, oh, use my Yahoo. No. And you got to tell your students lots of times during the start of the class, check your GSU email. Write it down in your calendar so you start forming this habit. That's how the communication works.
I have a question. Will we have a list of our students, the
You will.
names, the emails, and everything?
It'll be in Desire to Learn, and I'll talk to you about how to gather your own list that might even be that much more accurate.
And as far as the presence in class is concerned, do we have to like make them sign every day? What about
I'll show
that?
you how to make a roll sheet so you can keep track of who's there and who's not.
So we have to do that.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. It's very easy. And it also will help you figure out when students are starting to lag behind, their grades are starting to falter. You can determine that really quick, usually by attendance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really relatively easy to do. Okay. You should have several pieces of paper here. You should have the graduate assistant piece that's yellow most likely, the graduate handbook, and then the orientation. And I think we'll just start with that to get it done. And anytime if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. You're going to have lots of questions. I'm not sure how much of this information you're going to readily retain this morning, right? So one of the first things you might want to do when you get home, this weekend is to say, let me look at this stuff one more time. Let me just take another look and just try to absorb more of this, because it's going to seem like information overload at any given time. Here we've given you on this sheet some URLs that you can click on when you get the digital version of the campus map, so you understand where we are. Because we're in downtown Atlanta. I've been told that we own 38 buildings in downtown Atlanta. Some of them we don't even use. Some we're renovating right now and getting ready to use. Within about the next year or two, we'll be moving from this building over to the Sun Trust building. We'll be on the 22nd floor or something like that. Yeah, it's nice. Those bankers have really nice facilities, And so they've told us this for a couple of years. I've never believed it. And they're saying, hey, we're going to get ready to move. It's like, sure, I haven't packed a box yet. So, but it gives you an idea of how large the campus is. Desire to Learn is nothing more than Blackboard or ULearn or something like that. It's just a course management system. It's really not that difficult to figure out. There are places that you can go as an instructor, the exchange, that can help you figure things out. But the more veteran GTAs will be able to help you with this as well. There's an email function inside of it and this type of thing. Email, hopefully you've got your email set up, you can see that. One important thing is the university police. If you teach late at night and you're uncomfortable about walking to your car or walking to MARTA, you call them. They will escort you from where you are to there. And it's a very nice service. I've been here 8 years now, and I have yet to have a problem. My classes usually go into the late evening, and I've taken MARTA. I've gone to various parking decks and have had no problems at all. They say that's because I'm a man instead of a woman, but even the women that I know have not had a problem. But there's no need to take that chance if you feel any insecurity. Call these people. They're increasing the number of police officers, and they're there for you. Okay? Go Solar, hopefully you've looked at that. That's where you can find a lot about the courses. And you can log in and you can even see your teacher evaluations there. The graduate catalog is posted there, as well as this graduate handbook that you can take a look at. On the second page, our web page has dramatically changed and keeps morphing as we add more and more information to it. We'll take this podcast, this will be there as well. We'll also put up some other podcasts that I've been filming and other instructors have been filming about excitement about languages, what you're going to do when you leave, these types of things. And so they're there for your benefit as well as that kind of anybody else. Pause is much like the Go Solar here. You can go in, you can check more about your information as well. The registration guide, student health insurance, which is wonderful. And of course, last but never least, tuition and fees, right? When I was an undergraduate, fees were almost non-existent. I think my fees were like $6. Yeah, those days are long gone, exactly. Now that we have some other things. The academic calendars are found on the register's webpage, but if you just go to the GSU main webpage and put in that search string there on our page, you can bring up all the academic calendars, the final exam calendars, and so you can see what's happening when. And I usually take the time to run through this with my class on the opening day. I had a student this summer that back in December had decided that he was going to take a trip right in finals week of the summer. And so he booked this plane fare and all this, and all of a sudden he comes to me about 2 days before the finals and says, oh, by the way, I won't be here for the final. And I said, that's not going to help your grade. You can imagine the problem. So I try to set these things out early. I try to go and find out when those exam dates are going to be for final exams and say, do not plan on leaving prior to this day. This is when you have to be here. Okay? And so I always take this and I print it out and I put it on my wall so I know exactly what's going on. And there's actually daily calendars there too, where you can see what's happening at the university on each calendar day. Okay? So that's a good thing to even throw some of those important dates into your calendar as well. Okay? The yellow one here just talks about the MCL. We talk about MCL as just modern classical languages, grad assistantship. And it's going to give you some important information about how appointments for the procedures and guidelines take place in our college. Whenever you see the abbreviation COS or COAS, it's the College of Arts and Sciences. Okay? We require that all graduate assistants who are in A&S majors register for the following hours in order to qualify for a full waiver. Okay, fall and spring you have to have 18 credit hours total in exceptional circumstances, they say, and with the prior approval of the associate dean. Master's students may register for as few as 12 credit hours. These cases are extremely rare and need to be well justified. May and summer combined, 15 credit hours, preferably not fewer than 9. And then I don't probably need to read this to you, but the French, German, Spanish majors may register up to 12 credit hours of 88.95 research to reach that number of hours. And Dr. Ruby kind of talked to you about that. The one thing that you want to make sure that you do is not fall out of this continuous enrollment piece. I get a lot of unsolicited emails from the university telling me who's registered for the correct amount or beyond and who isn't. And then people start getting dropped. And so you don't want to be in that dropped category. It's just it's a paperwork, not nightmare, but you got to shuffle this paperwork, keep track of it, so that you get back in. So you just want to continually stay enrolled for 2 reasons. 1, it's much easier, and 2, you'll get in and you'll get out in a much more timely fashion. Okay. Graduate assistant status. Graduate teaching assistants cannot be employed in any other job category during their assistantship, right? You cannot be engaged in work that is primarily materially clerical or anything else like that. Okay. The next piece talks about the stipend, the workload, right, or the maximum set by the policy of the graduate assistant, right? The monthly stipend, about $3,000 for employment sources. Total appointments, 2.5 full-time employment. Keep in mind that one employment is the equivalent of 8 hours of work per week. And I'm not going to read it to you. You can kind of see how that works out. Okay, on the entire stipend there. We have different categories for assistants, right? The first-time teaching assistant, lab, research assistant appointees are rehired as GLAs, GRAs, graduate research assistants, GTAs. Must report to the university HR to complete this new paperwork. Has everybody done that? Everybody filled out all the paperwork? Has Deb talked to you about that? Okay. You want to make sure that that you're in the system there, basically, right?
Sent her email about must be on the directory or something like that?
No, that's just so we know who you are, so when students come in, we know where to find you.
Okay.
Yeah, and you wanna fill that out from Deb if you haven't done that, right? Okay. Our HR, services are found in One Park Place. As you may be disoriented, this building is kind of that way, a couple of blocks, right? It's right around the corner from the police station on the 3rd floor. Very nice group of folks up there working. Okay. Payroll information, graduate assistants are paid 4 times during the fall and spring and twice in the summer. The dates are listed, not below, but on the following page. Okay? And you can see how that works out. And these dates should have been changed to 2014. Okay? What else do we got here? Here's some important dates for getting your keys. Have you started trying to figure out what room you're teaching in and which building, and so you can get your keys? Okay. Monday morning there will be key control people down in the lobby, level 2 of this building, and you can get the keys for like Kell, Sparks, Arts and Humanities, and Classroom South right there. Otherwise, you can go to the police department, and right around the side in the police department area is the key control. My suggestion would be to get those as early as you can. I went and got mine in June, because you can imagine on Monday, lots of people are gonna be saying, I need my key to this, I teach at 9 o'clock. And so,
Question about that. I've been to One Park Place and to the HR department, but where's the security in relation to that? Is it inside the building or is it?
it actually is, but it's a maze to figure it out. If you step out of that building and go kind of north, I don't know, 50 yards and take a left around the corner, it's right, it faces Woodruff Park.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
The university logo on it.
Yeah, and there's like little.
There's usually a couple
police
cops hanging out in
logo
front of
things
it.
on it.
And
Yeah.
also, the HR place, they are directing you somewhere else, so make sure you go with plenty of time, because from there you're gonna go somewhere else for the paperwork. Yeah, they're not taking it right there.
They must have a bigger room or something like that for the number of people that are
Oh
coming
yeah,
in.
like across the street, down
Yeah.
the stairs.
Yeah. Gotta keep in mind, there's about 33,000 students attending GSU. And so, at any given start of the semester, hopefully, you can beat that crowd. Do you have your campus ID yet? If you don't, you're gonna wanna have that, cause that gets you into everything else. Okay, so go get that, as soon as possible, and then clearly you don't wanna lose that.